Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing? I hope that you fared well this weekend. This is Lia Abney, consultant, author, and speaker coming to you for Keep It Moving Monday Morning Motivations. And I hope that you had a great day. It is early Monday morning coming to you a little after 6. I had to do some things, some adjustments and things like that. So I am coming to you a little bit after 6 o'clock, but knowing that I come to you at 6 a.m. every morning, somewhere about that time. So thank you for joining me. Those of you who are on YouTube, thank you for liking and my YouTube channel. Those of you who don't know, please go on over to YouTube, look up Lia Abney LLC, and go ahead and follow me on YouTube. I am also on Facebook. So those of you who are on Facebook, good morning to you, and I hope that you guys are faring very well on this day. So I don't know about y'all, but I was very busy this weekend. I got a lot going on between clients, running for office for the Board of Education. Very interesting. Um, it's a very interesting journey, you guys, because it's really stepping me outside of my box. I'm learning a lot about myself, what I can, and I'm really, really have come to understand that I am very resilient and to be able to tap into those qualities. And believe me when I tell you, I do not do this without a lot of trepidations about, oh, am I doing the right thing? Is this really for me? And kind of go through those ups and downs. But, the thing is that I keep it moving, no matter what it looks like. And so I had a very busy weekend. I know you can probably hear it in my voice. It's kind of husky there going on, but I'm going to keep it moving this morning. I'm going to keep it moving this morning and do this show for you guys because I want to motivate y'all. Those who are joining me for the first time, um, I do this because I really want to inspire other people who have entrepreneur and desires, but also for the business professional, because sometimes it's like, okay, we're so into this entrepreneur earning a second stream of income. Not necessarily mean that you're going to delve into the entrepreneur world. It just means as a professional that you want to have success as well. So I also target those who are in the professional world as well. So thank you for joining me this morning. So um, outside of all of that, you guys, outside of all of that, one of the things that I think is so important that, and you've probably heard this as well, that leaders are what? Readers. It's important that we read. And so one of my favorites that I just got, I haven't even started reading this book, you guys, but I want to bring this on. So I think it's important that you are adding to your library, whether it's a physical book like this one, or if you're doing Kindle, the ebooks. So however you're building your professional library, buy those things that's going to help you understand your craft or even to improve or empower you to be better. So I came across this book right here, The Power of Broke by Damon John. I've heard of him before. Most of you may know him from Shark Tank. Okay. And he is also the founder of FUBU. Okay. So in this book, he actually is speaking with other professionals that are sharing their thoughts, their experiences to help us, be better, as far as our finances. And so as I am looking to grow my legacy, expand my legacy, and build something for myself, multiple streams of income, I definitely am turning to this book along with the power of the Powernomics is another book that I am currently reading, but I'm adding this one to my reading list. So again, this is in the links. I've added in links. You can buy it on Amazon. And so the power of broke. And I've kind of flipped through here already, and I am liking some of these titles. Be committed, which is one thing that I in my 3 C's of action for Lia Abney LLC is that I talk about commitment. And so I'm very excited to read this book. Turn Your Problems into Solutions is another title. And Money Changes Everything, you guys. That's chapter 3. So if you are looking to change the outcome of how you're viewing money, how your relationships and money, and building something more powerful for yourself, and being looking at liability as well. And so I'm just going to read the back page of this. It says Damon John has been practicing the power of broke ever since he started selling his home sewn t-shirts on the streets of Queens. With no funding and a $40 budget, he had to come up with out of the box ways to promote his products. So he hatched an idea for a creative campaign that eventually launched the FUBU brand into a 6 billion global phenomenon. But it might not have happened if he hadn't started out broke, with nothing but a heart full of hope and a ferocious drive to succeed by any means possible. Far from being a liability, broke can actually be your fuel for success as an entrepreneur, says Damon. Why? It forces you to think more creatively, use your resources more efficiently, connect with your customers more authentically, and market your ideas more imaginatively. It forces you to be true to yourself, stay laser focused on your goals, and come up with innovative solutions to make a meaningful mark. Drawing on his own experience as an entrepreneur, branding consultant, and Shark on ABC's Shark Tank, as well as stories from other entrepreneurs who have hustled their way to wealth, Damon shows how we can all leverage the power of broke to achieve fame and profit. So I'm looking forward to delving into this book, and I hope that you find this book useful as well. So again, um, the link is provided in the descriptions, and so you can go buy your book. So thank you so much again for those of you who are joining on today. And I want you to stay tuned because I will be right back with our topic for today. Black G, Black G. Hello, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. This is Lia Abney, consultant, author, and speaker, and I am your host this morning for Keep It Moving Monday Morning Motivations. Thank you so much for joining me. Good morning to you. I hope that you will find yourself doing well. Those of you who don't know me and want to learn more about what it is that I do, please hop on over to www.liaabneyllc.biz. I have wonderful resources available for you to help you keep it moving toward your goals and building a strategy to see your dreams come true. Those of you who are joining me, if you don't know, I am also on YouTube. Yes, I am. I am on YouTube. So you can go to Lia Abney LLC, where you can watch previous shows of the Keep It Moving Monday Morning Motivations to empower you to achieve your goals. And so thank you all for joining me on today. I hope that and I pray that your day has been well, that you're looking forward to tackling this day and this week, right? It's another week. And you guys, it's almost the end of 2020. We're trying to get through this 2020. I've heard in the beginning of the year is the, year of vision, and then COVID-19 happened. And it really require us to think outside of the box, right? But then also one of the things that I've noticed is that it has probably in some people has created a lot of fear of what their future would look like. Am I going to make it through the end of 2020? sending blessings and peace upon those who have lost loved ones during this time, because it is a humbling journey during this year. And I know my tone kind of changed, but it is. But how do we, even in times like this or times out of this, do we live a fearless life? So our topic for today is living a fearless life, you guys. Living a fearless life. And fear can come in many, many shapes, and it just depends on, you could have fear of bugs, okay? You can have fear of failure. You can have fear of speaking in front of a crowd. You can have fear of, being embarrassed is another fear that can, fear of reading in public, young folks, reading out loud could be a fear. Fear could be of, many of things that can create other things such as low self-esteem, anxiety, all of those things, depression, yes. And I just want to put this disclaimer out there right now. I am not a professional counselor. So if you are needing counseling services and you don't know where to go, please feel free to contact me. You can DM me if you're following me on Facebook, and I will connect you with a counselor. I know several counselors that are available, and so I can definitely connect you. We do not want you to, I don't want you to sit in fear where other things are manifesting, and it makes it difficult for you to live the life that you are intended to live. So let's get started with our topic again, living a fearless life. And guess what? We are overcomers, right? We are motivated to keep it moving, because that's what the goal is, to keep it moving no matter how we're feeling during a certain time or in our lives, right? So I believe scripture for me is always the basis of everything. So, I got to bring scripture in here. And these are the scriptures that have helped me along the way. So John 14:27 says this: peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, do I not as the world gives, do I give it to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. So fear is usually wrapped in being afraid of things not happening. And as an entrepreneur, one of the things, again, that's John 14:27, and our topic, those who are joining us, is living a fearless life. And so one of the things that I find when it comes to being afraid is a lot of times is based on things that have happened in your life when you were younger, okay? When you're a lot younger. And then one of the things that I heard this past week, and I can't remember who had said this, but what they said was that fear blocks creativity. That fear blocks creativity. And I was like, whoa. I said, that makes so much sense, because what it does is fear stops you from doing anything that you might have wanted to do before. So, and one of the things is that I've done is I've become, I've came to a point where I actually embrace the things that do not turn out the way that I want them to. Okay. I started embracing those things because, I get the tingling feelings from, like, it's like everything, your endorphins, all the chemical things start happening with your body, where you have all these different emotions that surface when things don't work out okay, or if you get embarrassed, or you know, something happens, and guess what? It becomes the talk, right? Come on now, because I'm trying to bring this very real for you guys. People start talking about it, and it makes you feel all kind of sorts of ways. And then what happens? You abandon what it is you're going to do, or it doesn't turn out that way. I've come to embrace those opportunities, because then I'm like, okay, that really wasn't for me. And it makes me explore myself a little bit more deeper and what my purpose is, and allows me to see more clearly which direction I should go. I know I just said that a whole lot right there, But what happens with fear is when it blocks your creativity, it then creates a systematic oppression in our communities that impacts our belief in ourselves to achieve greater success. I'm going to say that again. Fear blocks creativity. And also, what happens is you find this systematic oppression in our communities, because this goes beyond just the individual. This becomes a community impact that impacts our beliefs in ourselves to achieve greater success. What do I mean by that? A lot of times things has happened, and some of these things have happened over a time period where um, we have adopted this mindset of fear that seeps not only, starts with the individual, it ends up being something that impacts our children. Our children become adults, or we become adults. We then take this out into the community and how we respond and how we react with one another and believe in what we can achieve and cannot achieve. We won't go buy a house over there. We won't go get this car over there. We won't go get this job over here. We won't start this business here. We won't go to school. We won't go get this certification. Why? Because we have gravitated and have adopted fear as the norm in our lives. When fear is just a blocker, it is just an emotion that is meant to block creativity. And what I mean by creativity is the ability to think that we are able to do things that we probably would never have done. For instance, it took for me to be creative and have a mindset to say that I could run for office. It took creative for me to have a creative thought for me to say, yes, I can be an entrepreneur. Matter of fact, it took creative thought for me to even think that I can get on YouTube and do this Monday morning motivation. And once you have that creativity turns into hope. That hope turns into commitment, and commitment turns into an action. It turns into an action. So fear of, and one of the reasons why we don't sometimes do things is because we have a fear of that our fears or our actions will actually impact other people. And so what I mean by other people, okay, if I am trying to help somebody as a consultant, that's what we do. We're helping people. But if I had a fear that, what, I don't have anything to contribute to help other people, so I can't do that. Or what happens if what I do there's no outcome, or there's no tangible outcome for that person? Or I'm not going to do that no more because that person didn't, they were upset with me that they didn't achieve what they achieved. This business is a hit and miss. It is a hit and miss. And but it's not going to stop me from continuing to share my expertise. And so a lot of times, whether it's a music, maybe it's a music piece that you're writing or a book that you're writing, and you're like, you know what, I didn't sell that many books. I didn't sell that many books. So I'm not going to write another book. I'm not going to put myself out there to be hurt. And a lot of times, really think real deep about this. How many of you have that type of fear? That I'm not going to put myself out there because I don't want to be hurt and I'm going to protect myself. Think about it. What is it that's on the inside of you? And I always say this all the time. What's on the inside of you is meant for somebody else, y'all. What's on the inside of you is meant for somebody else. So remember that, God didn't create us to have a spirit of fear. Matter of fact, He created us to walk in peace. And if we remember, we're looking at John 14:27. It says, peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, do I give to you. Not as the world gives, do I give it to you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. So I had to, one of the things I say, what, as I walk through this journey, I'm not going to be walking in fear that things aren't going to work out the way that I want it to. I'm not going to be in fear that I'm not going to, have this many clients at first. I'm not going to walk in fear that that people are, that I'm going to be the flavor of the month, period. that I'm going to be the flavor of the month, because guess what? Maybe another consultant, maybe another speaker, but I'm still going to go ahead and make sure that I am communicating, engaging with the audience that I have been given, and thank God for that. Okay. Now I'm going to keep it moving. So what are some ways you're like, Leah, okay, I get all of that, but what are some ways that I can live a fearless life? Because sometimes it's very hard, and I understand that sometimes when anxiety creeps up, because I get anxiety too. I know you guys can turn around and look and say, Leah is always doing stuff. Let me tell you, that does not come without some serious thoughts and some and some arguments with myself. But once I have a made up mind that I'm going to do this thing, nothing stops me. Nothing absolutely stops me. And for you to get there, it took years for me to get there. Look, my journey didn't start until after I was like literally in my 40s, almost hit my 50s, you guys. So imagine, what was I doing the years before that? I was struggling and wrestling with my thoughts and that anxiety of stepping out in faith and walking this thing out. It didn't happen overnight, you guys. Success does not happen overnight. Now, some people happen to have that pleasure. I did not have that pleasure. How many are you with me? I didn't have that pleasure. It didn't happen overnight. And I'm still trying to walk in it. I'm still trying to walk in it. But I'm going to keep on doing it until God says the same. And so what are some ways that you can turn around and live a fearless life? Y'all, I'm trying to pump y'all up and get y'all motivated to walk out there in your purpose. 2020 is not over yet. And so there are things that can be done. Yes, we got 2 more months, 2 more months where we can make some things happen and get it started. Okay. And so you only have to choose one thing. Choose that one thing. And the first thing that I had to do was I had to recognize the fears that impact my behavior or prevented me from walking in my purpose. And so that's the same thing with you. Recognize those fears that impact your behavior, or create certain behaviors that would then prevent you from walking in your purpose. So for me, I always, one of the things I kept on telling myself, I don't have nothing to say. I said, I don't have anything that will, that's worth listening to or anybody wants to hear. And I was like, you know what, God, even when I started doing this Monday morning motivation show, you guys, let me tell you, a year, this thing was spoken in my spirit, and for a whole year, I didn't do nothing. You guys, I kind of dabbled with it. I started for a moment, then I stopped. I started and I stopped, and I was like, you know what, Leah? And then as more people, I started, and I'm going to talk about this, how this all happened. So the first thing I had to do is I had to recognize those fears. What were those fears and those barriers? Number one, I had nothing to say. Okay. God, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Now, mind you, for years, I have been writing in a journal. Those in that journal are where I draw my topics from, you guys. I go back to that journal. And then God says, you know what? You need to read this. You need to read that. A lot of times from the things that I read, that I'm doing, my experiences in life. Those are the things that I end up sharing. And I'm like, wow. And then I learn and I do some more reading about those things. I operate in those techniques. I practice those in my life until I see the change in my life. And I'm like, wow, this is something that needs to be shared with other people. The other thing is that I found that I cannot do it alone. So one of the things is I had to get help. I had to get help. I realized this journey and overcoming fear is not something I could do by myself. I had to get the necessary help. What did that help look like? The first thing is because my body wasn't acting the way that I needed to help. I actually had to get counseling for that to manage pain. When I started managing that pain, it helped me to identify and to tap into how my body was feeling, where I learned different meditations that I'm like being in it now and recognize how I'm feeling at that point. And so when I was able to do that, that really helped. And again, that was professional help. The other type of help I got was mentoring, which I'm doing right now. I'm going to be getting a mentor to help me streamline my business, to help me understand that. But not only that, it helped me have accountability and somebody who is going to support me along my journey. Reading books, you guys. Reading books. I introduced this book, right? Reading books, reading is another thing. And of course, my faith-based walk, that has been another thing that has helped me along the way. So what does that help look like for you? Find out what that help looks like for you. It may even finding an accountability partner. It may be tapping into your friendships, your family, wherever it is that you find that you need help, depending on what it is that you're dealing with as far as it relates to fear. Find that help, get that incorporated into your life, and make that a regular, pulse, do a pulse check, something regular that you do. And so what does that mean? Let's look at number 3. That means that you want to what? You want to, let me get to number 3. Sorry about that. You want to ensure that that's number 4. Let me go back. Sorry. So number 3, surround yourselves with other fearless people. Let me tell you how important this is. Remember I said that number 2 is what? You want to get help. Another thing that you want to do is you want to surround yourself with other fearless people. A lot of times what happens is in our circle of influence, we are gravitated to people who are just like us. So I literally, I do consider myself to be fearless, but there are some times when I'm venturing into something new where I like, okay, I need somebody who is either have walked through this or is going through this right now, or somebody that can motivate me to do this thing. And so I'm very mindful of those who are struggling with fear themselves, like peas in a pod, y'all, birds of feather flock together. So if you have a lot of people around you that are walking in fear as well, guess what? You're going to have a mindset of fear. You're going to have a mindset of fear. So having those people that are fearless, and when I'm talking about having people that are fearless, I'm not talking about those that will downplay your fear, but will help you walk through that. So you're building a resiliency mindset and attitude towards where you're going. Okay. And that you will do it regardless of how you're feeling. So yeah, I surround myself with people that are, that are like, Leah, I have that motivation person that's cheering my cheerleader. Okay. I have that one cheerleader that would do that. I have one person that's like, what's your schedule? What are we doing? And does a daily, okay, what you got going on? Here's your calendar. Yes, and what time we doing this? They're holding me accountable. So I have that accountability partner. And then I have that one person that's like, you know what? I need some prayer because I'm just really struggling with this one thing, and it helped me navigate those emotions. Okay, those are no emotions in a safe place where it's like, okay, Leah, get your mindset. This is how you need to be thinking. And then and sometimes it may be the same person. Let me tell you, you may not have multiple person, but you may be blessed to find that one person that can act multiple that can provide those multiple elements that you're needing to go beyond fear, to go beyond fear. And so one of the things that I do as well is I am, one of the things to overcome fear just generally in my life is number 4. I do something that I have a fear of. I do that one thing that I have a fear of. Okay. Do something that you have a fear of doing. Okay. So, and it just depends on what that would look like. I know another author, um, Miss, she is the Live Past Crazy specialist. I absolutely adore this young lady, Miss Jojo Wandell. I absolutely love her. Jojo Waddell, excuse me, my mouth is not wanting to operate. I'm so sorry. I did not, if I mess up your name, charge it to my head, not my heart, Miss Ladybug. But Miss Jojo. And so Yamitra. And so you guys, she is such a motivator. She does her Fearless Morning Show at about 7:15 a.m. I am always sharing her um, YouTube and her lives. So please go to YouTube. You can find her at the Fearless Morning Show. That is Miss Yan Mitra Waddell. Miss Yan Mitra Waddell. Okay, and I know her as JoJo. So you may see that too, JoJo. So she does her Fearless Morning Show. And guess what? From her and watching her over the year, I'm like, you know what, Leah, get out here and do this thing. And so I watched her for a while. So sometimes you may find somebody that you just watch and observe. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're your mentor or anything like that, but you can observe people from afar and take note of what they're doing. When it came to YouTube, I also watch um, Mrs. Kev on stage. Yes, the Love Hour show. So I watch them and I watch other YouTubers locally. Living with Jess, the life of Jess and the life of E. I mean, a lot of YouTubers I watch, and so I'm like, okay, Leah, you can do this too. And that's how I learned, being around other speakers, and engaging with them and seeing what they're doing and learning from them as well. So again, one of the ways to be able to get beyond fear is, guess what? Do that one thing that you have a fear of, so you can get those anxieties of. I remember JoJo saying she had a fear of water. She could tell the story better than I can. She had a fear of water. And so what she did was she went and she faced that fear. And she now loves, when I tell you, she's always at the beach, y'all. She is always at the beach. So find that one thing that you have a fear of and just go and do it. And I'm telling you, once you do it, you realize that it's not as bad as you think it would be. Okay. So as we end this episode, again, we're talking about living a fearless life. And so, and as we end this, there are 4 ways that I shared with you, 4 ways to live a fearless life. The first one is recognize the fears that impact your behavior or prevent you from walking in your purpose. Number 2, get help, whether it's professional help, whether it's getting a mentor or getting a consultant. Okay. The other thing is surround yourself with other fearless people. Make sure that you're assessing your circle of influence, those that are around you. If you always have that one person that's, if you're a pea in a pot, together, or you're amongst birds that flock together and you all are in fear, find someone who is fearless, that does it. And so that their mindset can rub off on you. You can adopt this mindset and then you can keep it moving, right? The last one that I have is to overcome ways to overcome fear is do that one thing that you have a fear of doing. What's the worst that can happen? Okay, what's the worst? And sometimes choose something that's small, don't choose that real big thing that, because the fear of failure is a real thing. Okay, you guys, fear of failure is a real thing. So find that one thing that you fear of doing and just go ahead and do it, right? And keep it moving. So before I end the show, I want to share this particular scripture with you. Um, for overcoming fear. And here are some scriptures that I meditated on to overcome fear. And that was Psalms 56, 3 and 4, Psalms 91, verse 2, and then also Timothy 1 and 7. Before I end this podcast, this show episode, I want to share Psalms 112, 6 through 8. For the righteous will never be moved. He will be remembered forever. He is not afraid of bad news. His heart is firm, trusting in the Lord. His heart is steady. He will not be afraid until he looks in triumph on his adversaries. So punch fear in the mouth and keep it moving. And I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys as you are accomplishing certain goals and you've overcome certain fears. Please feel free to let me know about it. Thank you all for joining me on today on this episode of Keep It Moving Monday Morning Motivations. Of course, I come to you every Monday morning at 6 a.m. And also, please visit my website at liaabneyllc.biz for more information. Those of you who are out there, you are more than welcome to follow me. Also, on YouTube. Yes, I am also on YouTube. So thank you so much for everybody who is joining me on today. I appreciate you and I hope that you have a very blessed week.